Welcome to the EB-5 Insight Podcast. My name is Simon Weiner, and I am a business development and operations analyst at Houston EB-5, a regional center working in tandem with DC partners to fundraise and develop real estate projects. On today's episode, we are joined by a distinguished guest, attorney Chiranjaya Nanayakkara, an accomplished immigration attorney based here in Houston, Texas. He is one of the managing attorneys of Willie Nanayakkara and Associates, alongside attorney George Willie, where he has built an excellent reputation for his depth of experience in U.S. immigration law, particularly investment-based immigration and the EB-5 program. His firm has helped hundreds of clients navigate the complexities of U.S. immigration strategy with a mix of precision and care. Today, we're going to be unpacking one of the most critical topics in the EB-5 world right now: the grandfathering protections and the September 30th, 2026 deadline that stem from the EB-5 Reform and Integrity Act. There's a lot of confusion, speculation, and curiosity among both investors and practitioners about what the future holds after that date and what exactly the law guarantees. Let's jump right in, and thanks for joining us in this conversation. So Chiro, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a real pleasure to have you on the EB-5 Insight podcast.
Thank you for inviting me, Simon.
Of course. So let's get right into it. The RIA included what is commonly referred to as a grandfathering clause, which protects investors who file their petitions before September 30th of 2026. Could you explain that protection for our listeners and what exactly is being grandfathered and under what authority?
Okay. In order to explain this, I think I need to go a little bit to the history of why this grandfathering clause came into EB-5 laws. The history, if you look at the history of EB-5 program, EB-5 program never had any grandfathering clause. So what happened previously was when the EB-5 program was authorized under the funding program, always EB-5 program was attached to the funding program, the government funding program. So when the funding program ends, then the EB-5 program ends. Right? So previous times when investors have applied for a EB-5 program and application, they have now invested with the regional center. They have applied and they're waiting for their adjudication. While they're waiting for the adjudication, the funding period ends. Then their application goes into suspension or sometimes denial. So in order to address this particular key issue, this unreasonable thing that what was happening to these EB-5 investors, so the lawmakers came up with this grandfathering clause and said with the 2022 Act, RIA Act, that any person who has applied for an EB-5 application before September 30th, 2026 will be protected under the existing laws of the EB-5 program, irrespective of the fact whether the program is suspended, amended, terminated, whatever it is.
Right.
Now, you must remember, the funding program, the EB-5 program ends on September 30th, 2027. The grandfathering clause kicks in on September 30th, 2026. So the protection that we talked about under the grandfathering clause only applies to applications that are filed before September 30th, 2022, and not for the applications that are filed between September 30th, 2022 and September 30th, 2027.
Right. Now, you touched a little bit on this in that description there, but this clause, how does it differ from what existed prior to the enactment of RIA? So back when investors were kind of left in limbo during previous lapses in the program, how does it compare?
Oh, it compares. When you compare it, it's a huge advantage for the EB-5 investors, because I can remember back at that time, the investors were asking me, what's happening? And the USCIS was thrown into confusion, but they didn't know what to do. So sometimes some officers were denying, some officers were holding it on abeyance. And everyone, the regional centers were in a difficult position because the investors invested. Yes, they invested in a project, especially the EB-5 investors, they wanted their green card. If that was not coming, then what's the purpose of having that
Sure.
investment in the regional center for them?
Sure.
Although it's not it's a risk, it has a risk component in that whole investment.
Right.
But part of it is to get the green card, right?
Absolutely.
So that whole dynamics changed after this thing.
Got it. So for families or for individuals who are on the fence right now about starting their EB-5 process, today, what are the tangible benefits of filing before that 2026 cutoff date?
Huge. Because if you file it in 2026 before the cutoff date, you exactly, as I said, your application will be adjudicated irrespective of the termination of the program or not, or amendment to the program, anything. Now, when I talk about amendment, under RIA 2022, there's a clause that under, I can't remember the section, but that they can now start adjusting for the inflation starting January 1st, 2027. So come January, your upward investment amount has been adjusted to 2 million. So 75% is the regional center, the rural area,
Right.
and the high unemployment.
Right.
So you will have to cough up more money
Right.
rather than 800,000. So it's best that you go ahead and take the advantage of this application and file it before September 30th, 2026.
Absolutely. I want to switch gears just a little bit and talk about the reauthorization process itself. Can you walk us through how that reauthorization process is determined by the U.S. government?
Yes, as I said, it is a part of the funding bill. It's a rider. So if the reauthorization happens now, we are in trouble because the government is shut down.
Right. That's
Right?
Sure.
So thank God it's not up for reauthorization till 2027.
Yes.
So hopefully the government by that time will be reopened.
Right.
And people will be working, and it is part of the funding bill of the government. It's a rider. So when that authorization happens, they will attach this EB-5 pilot program, which is called a pilot program, the regional center program. So it will be attached as a minibus, the addendum rider,
Right.
and then it'll go into effect.
Got it. So you mentioned earlier, a potential increase in these investment thresholds, right?
Yes.
If there's an increase, which it seems likely that there is an increase in the minimum investment threshold, how would that affect the EB-5 program overall?
I mean, there will be people will then weigh in the option as to whether this is a worthwhile investment or not, right?
Sure.
Because if you're going to increase it up to 5 million, and then you look at that and then you think whether it's worth it to invest 5 million as against other countries
Sure.
who also have similar programs in their countries. So they had to weigh in the pros and cons.
Right.
So that's where it's all going to come into the EB-5 program, and also the speed of adjudication.
Right. Absolutely.
Now, before this conversation started, we discussed about the new amendment which was coming in, and also the new processing times that is now described in the USCIS website,
Right.
which says that if you file a I-526 through the regional center program, your I-526 will be adjudicated. 80% of the I-526 will be adjudicated within 14 months.
Right.
Now, there's a conversation, as we talked earlier, with the adjustment of the fees that is going on, that the high unemployment area and the rural area applications will be adjudicated within 120 days.
Right.
If these things come into play, it's going to be very interesting how this is going to, that's a huge benefit. And I don't believe the government should put an upward amount of 5 million or anything like that. Yeah, inflation can be taken into account a little
Sure.
bit, but if the increment is about 1.2, I mean, still a very good program.
Right. Right.
as against any other investor programs. I mean, there are no other investment programs for a green card,
Right.
but any other programs available.
Sure, sure. Assuming that we are going to see an increase in the minimum investment threshold of your standard projects or your TEA projects, do you expect a surge in these I-526 petition filings leading up to that deadline or in the 2026 period?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm seeing that surge slowly coming in with the recent announcement
Right.
and the processing times and all that. Now people are more interested in putting that money in a regional center rather than going as a direct investment
Sure.
because it's faster, secure.
Yep.
Obviously, you need to select the correct regional center like your guys,
Sure.
EB-5 Houston.
Sure.
So if you select a good regional center and invest in a regional center, I think the rush is going to be pretty substantial for us.
Sure.
Come September 30th, 2026.
Sure, sure. Well, I know there's been some confusion among investors, or at least, investors that we speak with about the so-called gold or platinum visa concepts that are being floated by the Trump campaign. Can you just help clarify how these potential visa types, if they were ever formally introduced, might interact with or compete against the existing EB-5 visa?
So gold and platinum cards, whatever this gold card program, when President Trump introduced that when he came into power, it was about 5 million. Now it has gone down to 1 million and 2 million, right? It is not an investment. First of all, one should remember it is not an investment.
Right.
Are you going to give a gift to the US government? If you give a gift, you are supposed to get a gold card.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And if you are going to do the gift through a company, it's 2 million. And that gift could be ported to a different individual if that individual decides to migrate to USA. That's the advantage. But that's a gift. Potentially, that's a gift. You're not going to get back that money at all. And also, it is going to be run under the EB-1 and the EB-2 categories,
Right.
as against EB-5. As we know, EB-1 categories and the EB-2 categories, especially for Indian-born individuals and Chinese-born individuals, are backlogged. Even the EB-1 category and the EB-2 categories. So I don't see any advantage by even not an investment, first of all, gifting that
Right.
and taking that route,
Right.
rather than going through the EB-5 program. EB-5 program is the investment.
Right.
There's a potential of losing your money. Yeah, that's true. But if you have good programs, they have always been successful.
Right.
So your money is it's a good bet.
Right.
It's a calculated risk.
Sure.
So take that risk, and I would think the EB-5 program will be better served
Right.
for a person, unless the gold card program has some things like, okay, if you're out of studies, you can still go in that program or something like that. So
Right.
then there will be other advantages, but as of now, we don't know.
But for any visa practitioners who are even somewhat investment savvy, the idea of being able to earn a preferred return or earn interest in a loan model offers a huge advantage over just a gifting system.
Definitely.
Unless they're wealthy enough that it just doesn't matter. But in that case, there's
In
still no
case
real...
no one wants to go.
Right,
Most of the
right.
people.
Sure, sure. Well, so for those who are keeping a close eye on the program's renewal cycle, are there any sort of signs or indicators that investors or regional centers should watch out for that might signal the likelihood of the program being reauthorized?
Yeah, I think after this, basically after this government shutdown finishes and reopens, we need to keep a closer look at it actually in the next 90 days when the gold card program comes in.
Sure, yep.
So that's the time we need to really take a look at it, how this program is going to be renewed. If there is any interest in the government side, whether to kind of merge with the gold program or not.
Right.
That's what I am like really looking into. I have a strong feeling this is going to get reauthorized
Good. Good.
because it's an investment.
Right.
It's putting in money into a community.
Sure. And creating jobs.
Creating jobs, especially the rural area jobs.
Yes.
Rural area communities. So these are really going to benefit the folks in those areas.
Right. Right.
Rather than just giving the money to the treasury or anything like that. So I think this program is going to get renewed, and I think the regional centers should keep a very close eye of the activities in the Congress around July next year. I would say from the first quarter of next year.
Got it. And I know we've addressed this a little bit already in speaking about it, but just to be super clear for our viewers, if by chance Congress does not reauthorize the program after September of 2026, what would happen to pending I-526E or I-485 petitions that were filed before the deadline, just so we're clear?
They will continue to be adjudicated the way it should have been adjudicated.
Right.
Now, the applications that's filed after September 30th, 2022 and September 30th, 2027, those are in limbo.
Right. But assuming a safe reauthorization.
Yeah, if the pre-authorization happens before September 30th, 2022, I think it should happen.
Sure.
That's what I said. In the first quarter of next year, we have to kind of keep an eye on it because this next year is 2026. So we need to keep an eye on it, and because it will happen. So I have a strong feeling it will happen. So if it is filed before September 30th, 2026, you're safe. Your funding is safe. Of course, your funding will be safe even after 2027. It's a good program after 2026, September 30th. But whether you'll get a green card is in limbo.
Sure.
If your investment was after September 30th, 2026.
Sure. Understood. And just quickly, you mentioned that, a possibility of maybe some sort of merging of types between some of these gift visas, like a gold or platinum visa and an EB-5 program. If these visa types move forward, the gold and platinum visa, just sort of spitballing here, what could a merger of the two programs look like, or one running in tandem with the other look like, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I think, the gold card program, they may put it under the EB-5 program rather than the EB-1 and the EB-2 program. Whoever crafted this did not think hard about the visa availability dates.
Right.
Because there's no point. No one is going to pay 2 million, gift to the government, 1 million, especially a person born in China, India, or any other country, because it can go under EB-2 too, national interest. You're not going to pay that amount of money and wait for 5-10 years to get a green card. Right. So I have a feeling they might merge it under the EB-5 program for the gold card, but they may have to give some opening for people who are currently not admissible to the United States for various reasons. Right?
Sure.
So if that allows some, room for folks who are not admissible to the United States to get through the gold card program, and there's a visa availability, I think there could be some kind of a merger, and also that will, maybe the Congress will say, okay, you need to create 10 jobs or whatever it is.
Sure. So for the next, when you look at the next 18 to 24 months and what that could look like for, potential EB-5 investors, you would say that it's probably really important for them to begin doing their, project due diligence, regional center due diligence, maybe even starting to think about, working with or, formally engaging an immigration attorney and beginning their source of funds process if they're going to take EB-5 seriously, because the safest thing to do right now, even if we assume a likely reauthorization, is to really go ahead and have all your documentation and your due diligence prepared for, going into this lapsing of the program and grandfathering clause. Is that correct?
Yes, I would strongly advise them, if they are looking at the fact that they want to invest in a EB-5 regional center program, start working on it right now, because as you know, it's so if and your guys will be so quick getting documents to us because your program is running up and running. You had the documentation.
Sure.
And for us to do the SOF and the path of funds, it takes time because it doesn't come clean.
Right.
I mean, no one is keeping the money and I kept my money in the bank for the last so many years. Here's the money. They've been investing here, they've been giving money to other people, that money coming back. So we need to track all that stuff.
Sure. Sure.
So because of that, it's going to take time for us to track the source of funding and path of funding.
Right. So it's important to act quickly
Very
and
fast.
efficiently.
Yes, very fast.
Got it. Well, Chiro, thank you very much. It's been an incredibly insightful discussion here. You've helped clarify some of the pressing questions around the grandfathering clause, the uncertainty around reauthorization, and what the next 18 to 24 months could look like for potential EB-5 investors. For any of our listeners who might want to get in touch with you for immigration counsel, do you want to share about the best way to get in touch with your office?
Yes, if you are interested in hiring our firm for your EB-5 application, please contact us at 281-265-2522 and ask for me, because I'm the one who does EB-5 programs, Chiro, and come and see me.
Perfect. And everyone tuning in, thank you very much for listening to the EB-5 Insight podcast. Be sure to subscribe and stay connected as we continue to explore the legal, financial, and policy shifts shaping the EB-5 landscape. Attorney Chiro, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to the EB-5 Insight podcast. Today's conversation with attorney Chiranjaya Nanayakkara gave us valuable insights into the grandfathering protections under the EB-5 Reform and Integrity Act, the critical September 30th, 2026 deadline, and what potential investors should be thinking about as we approach this important date. If you're considering the EB-5 program, remember that time is of the essence. Starting your due diligence process now, including selecting the right regional center, preparing your source of funds documentation, and consulting with experienced immigration counsel can make all the difference in securing your investment under the current favorable terms. For more information about Houston EB-5 and our projects, visit houstoneb5.com. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe to the EB-5 Insight podcast on your favorite platform and share it with anyone navigating the world of investment-based immigration. Until next time, stay informed and stay ahead.